Yeah, it's the Rap Radar Podcast. I'm B.Dot.
Elliott Wilson.
And we got this guy, Khalid, man.
Khalid, man. We've been trying to get this guy on the podcast for a long time. Shout out to his manager, Courtney, man. We're in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, he's not young, dumb, and broke anymore.
Woo! Sold out shows, Madison Square Garden, Los Angeles, Staples Center.
Yep. And
amazing.
He's killing these DSPs as well.
Ooh, most streamed artist, most listened to artist out there, man. It's an honor to get some time with him, man. Finally, first time.
Yep, in almost every category, he's killing it.
Shout out Khalid. We appreciate you, homie. About to get into this interview. Rap Radar Podcast.
And let's do it. Pon your dome.
Just hold me in the dark.
Phoenix, Arizona to hunt down this man.
End of the hour.
What's up?
Khalid.
Hey guys.
Congrats on everything, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Following your movement, I feel like I feel connected to this, right? It feels like such a big moment for your career, right? Like we're literally like 5 days away. Free Spirit 2019 tour. How important is that right now to your
insane.
Whole journey?
I actually walked into the arena for the first time yesterday. So it was the first time I saw the stage.
Wow.
And you think back, I thought back on my first tour that I've ever done. My first show was actually my own show. That was the first concert I ever went to. So all I had was this Welcome to El Paso sign just on the wall, like a terrible mic and the mic stand. And that was it. And that was 2016, 2016.
Wow.
So it's only been around almost 3 years, and I'm able to do an arena tour and be able to, be in the league of just so many amazing artists because
and them tickets is moving, man.
Yeah,
Sold out the Garden. Let's get another one.
I know it's a blessing.
Staples, let's get another one.
Not a lot of people get to do this,
right?
And so I always look back at everything. Just the progress, the time, and even though it's a small window of time, I feel like there was so much work and effort in those years. So to be in this place is just, it really is humbling and it's awesome, and I'm excited for it.
I saw that you tweeted that this is going to be your best tour to date.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I feel it because, my team, all the energy is just in an amazing place. I have dancers that I love. I have 6 dancers that I really, really love that are amazing. And, you go through the first few tours and you kind of weed out the people that you don't need to bring on the road. So I've definitely dropped a couple of, people who I didn't need to have on the road. Because, it just makes it difficult for everybody when people aren't on the same page. So for me, I like to have a very cohesive energy, very positive energy. Because if you go on the road, you're touring for the whole year and there's no positivity behind it. There's no, good energy behind it, then it's gonna be taxing. It's gonna feel dragging. That's why people hate tours. Right? It's just like maybe you just need to kind of weed out the people, either if it's on your team or maybe even your friends that you don't need to bring on the road. Only bring people who give you the energy to continue.
So that's probably the biggest lesson, like just learning. And is that like a tough thing? Is that like you and your manager Courtney, I know well, like who's having that conversation? Is the things where you have to just really sit people down? And
I feel like it's me, and it is tough, and it is a realization because for me, I feel like I'm such an empath, and I always see the good in people, and so even when people are messing up, I'm like, I really don't want to. I don't want to drop them. I don't. Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to.
Get shit together on Friday.
You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I really don't. I don't want to drop them because I'm like, I believe that we all have opportunities, and I believe that everybody deserves a second chance, but when the second chance comes a third and fourth and fifth,
it's my career.
You gotta step beside yourself, not as Khalid the person, but also as Khalid the boss. Where I'm just like, they're not running this shit all the way that it should be.
But what's interesting about you, like you say, Khalid the boss, like you have this image of like this guy so warm and happy and positive, like but you've built this very organic movement on your own terms, and that takes a lot of strength, a lot of challenges, a lot of things, shutting down other detractors to build your own path. Like, how have you been able to do it?
Especially being so young, right? I feel like people, they have this stigma. And sometimes they walk over you a little bit because they see you by your age. But I feel like I've been working like I'm like mid-30s, about to be 40.
Working hard.
Putting the numbers up. Like,
and people see it. And so then I guess that's where the respect comes in, because they see, okay, wait, he's actually a hard worker. Like, he's actually really about.
Showed up early for this.
He's really about what he has to be about. And, like, I always make sure if I'm putting myself into it, I want to be the best that I can possibly be in that moment, but also I want my energy to be the best. So for me, even though I say boss, I feel like I kick it with all of my team.
Right.
Like we're homies at the end of the day. Because I don't. It's crazy because when I walked into that arena and I saw the list of how many people were working, I'm like, there's about 75 people here. You know, I don't know any of them. And so I go to my friend. I was like, you think they don't like me? You think they're afraid of me or anything? They're like, nah, bro. They just don't know you yet. I'm like, all right, good. I don't want them to be afraid of me. I don't want them to like dislike me. I want all of us to just be on a cohesive energy.
But being back on the tour, man, I know another list you're having trouble with is the set list. You talked about.
Oh no!
If you're coming to this tour, don't expect American Teen songs.
You clowned it. You said on to the next one.
Clown. It was partially a joke, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, I feel like I haven't performed this music ever. My Free Spirit album, I haven't performed it ever. There's songs off of Sun City I haven't performed ever. So when you think about a set list, I'm like, I could perform all of my songs or all of my catalog. We would be in that arena for 4 hours.
Right.
We would be sitting there, and I'm like, there's no reason for any of that to happen. So I'm just like, you
get location and you'll love it, all right?
I'm like, I'll sing location in Spanish, Italian, the slowed down version, sped up, like dance hall version if you want it. I'm like,
but how great is that? You bobbed and weaved. They have this thing they used to call the sophomore jinx, man. You bobbed and weaved that, man. You knocked that out.
It was crazy. I mean, I look at Free Spirit. I think about the success of the album so far. It's obviously Out of the Ladder, my most successful one so far in the span of the amount of time.
You're Khalid, but you're very Khalid with these accomplishments, man. You're talking that talk.
Throwing them out
right now.
Nah, but
on the head top.
It's crazy because I'm just like, I think about, for me personally, my favorite songs have been off of the ladder, whether it was Sun City and Free Spirit, those two. Like Better is one of my favorite songs I've ever done. Talk is one of my favorite songs I've ever done.
A lot of remixes.
And it's the most successful single that I've had so far. Being number 3 on the Hot 100 is crazy, right? It's insane.
That's crazy.
That Lil Nas X kid, you showed him love, man.
yeah, he's
that
cool.
little nigga's keeping us out of number 1 spot. There's something about that, man.
I mean, for me, I look at all these artists. I'm like, if a single can block a Taylor Swift debut, can block an Ed Sheeran debut, I'm like, you kind of just got to just step aside and just let it happen at that point. Just let it keep going. It's going to be interesting to see what song it takes to dethrone that monster of a song.
But what about your album, man? It debuted at number 1.
Yeah, you didn't
a whole lot of
how do you dodge the
units.
sophomore jinx? How did you triumph, man? It took the career to even a higher level.
For me, when I started working on my sophomore album, I was in this mindset. I felt like it was negative at first because I started to compare myself to American Teen, and I'm like,
you did the critic thing?
I was just like, I will never be able to make another American Teen, and then I had to take a step back, and I was like, you're not supposed to make another American Teen. You're supposed to make something else. And so once I got into the studio, I was kind of nervous a little bit because you do hear stories about sophomore jinx. That's the biggest, biggest curse they say in the industry is the sophomore jinx, because so many people are connected to the first one. They were inspired by the first one. They've lived with it for an amount of time, where the second one, I mean, it's kind of almost, it's never going to feel as great as discovering an artist for the first time. But some people are discovering me through Free Spirit as well. So those are different things that I took in mind, where I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be creative, if I'm going to write, then I don't have to worry about finding the next hit album. I'm like, let me make music that I like, that I'm gonna like to sing every single night for the rest of my life. Right. Let me find music that resonates with me. Let me learn about myself as an artist. Let me experiment a little bit. And I feel like that's where Free Spirit came. So for an album that I was working on that while I was on tour, while I was home. An album that I worked on over the road, I wrote a song in China.
You called it self-reflective, though.
Yeah, it was super self-reflective, and it's awesome. But for now, like, I'm not nervous about working on the next thing. Now I really want to work on just some more music and just get some more music out there. I'm not about to take my foot off the gas. I'm keeping it.
So where does Sun City fall? So Sun City doesn't count as the sophomore?
Sun City, okay, so for me, Sun City actually, if I'm going to be completely honest about the EP, came from an argument with my team because Free Spirit was supposed to come out in November. which I'm kind of glad it didn't come out in November because it gave me more time to work on new songs for it. So I get into an argument with my team. I'm like, I really want to put this out. I want to put music out. I haven't put out music, like a project in a year. Yeah. You know, like I feel like my fans heard so many collaborations, but they didn't hear anything from me.
We'll get to that collab.
Yeah. And so we kind of came to a mutual agreement after lots of yelling on phones and slamming studio doors, walking out, sitting in my car like
that fourth quarter,
you know. And yeah, so we dropped Sun City, but a lot of those songs were supposed to make Free Spirit. And so
Better, like you love Better.
Yeah,
right?
I love
was
Better.
Really the anchor of
yeah.
That Vertigo though.
Vertigo.
That Vertigo sounds like it belongs on a movie soundtrack.
Thank you, man. That's one of my favorite songs. I wanted to make sure that had its own place, so I didn't put it on Free Spirit because I was like, that to me is Sun City. Is songs like Vertigo and songs like Motion, like those are Sun City songs.
So in your mind, did it work? Also, I know you had the Motion record where you did your own
production on it. I feel like it worked. I mean, my fans definitely love Sun City so much, and that's the goal. Like, they love it so much. I want to continue doing EPs where I experiment and I try to produce myself and I do things like that. And then I would love to. I want to work on another EP. Like, who knows? I feel like at the rate that I work, I'm like, there might be one at the end of the year, there might be one at the top of the year, there might be one next year. It just really depends on how I feel about the music as well.
But let's talk about the music on the new project, like the intro of Free Spirit. Yeah. It sounds really triumphant.
Thank you.
Like, did you have somebody in mind when you were creating that record?
For me, that song, when I wrote that song, it was crazy because I went to El Paso and I was doing this semi like master class where I was writing music in front of other up and coming artists in the city. I was kind of teaching them how like I write music and what I do to track music down. And so I did this vocal like melody run. It was the intro, like all the melody, but there were no words. There were like words in the cracks. And I was so inspired by it when I got back to my hotel. I woke up and I wrote it in bed in the hotel room. I flew to LA. I went straight to the studio when I touched down and I recorded the song and I left. Because I was so inspired, not only by, I feel like, that connection that I had with those artists from El Paso, but then at the same time, I'm like, that's when I really started to feel inspired and I felt ready to, work on the second album.
Dope. People talk about that, how there's a certain like intensity or dramatic element to a lot of your music.
Yeah.
What do you think that stems from? Is that something that you're going for, or do you feel like it's like the natural?
For me, I feel like I love the relationship that I have with my fans, and I feel like for me, it's like we're each other's therapists almost. So it's like I talk to my fans all the time, whether it's on social media. Like I really make it my.
You are the retweet with comment king.
Yeah, I really retweet with comment, like, everything. Like I just love talking to my fans. They're just so funny. So sometimes there's situations where it's not always funny and where fans are coming to me like, this is what happened to me. And this experience, and you can't really reply to every Instagram DM, but you read so many personal, just people go through a lot in the world, and I see them at my shows. I can see it like in their face, just how much they relate to the music. Where I'm like, that's the music I want to continue to make. It's just music that I feel like helps individuals, and I love that. Like I feel like if I wasn't, doing what I'm doing right now, if I wasn't like, because I wanted to be like a grade school teacher, because I love that form of like communication. I love teaching. I love teaching. And if I wasn't doing that, I feel like I would have definitely ventured out into like sociology and psychology, because those are just things that really interest me a lot. And you experience that so much through being an artist and seeing the impact that your music has on your fans, especially when it grows. So I'm like, I only want my impact to be positive, and I want to make music that I feel like helps them. And it's crazy because I don't even really write it to intentionally help my friends. Sometimes I do, but my friends go through life experiences, whether it's grief, and then they're like, they listen to my music in a completely different light because they heard it at someone's funeral.
Right.
you know, and that person didn't even know that they were friends with me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just stories like that, or like where people text me and they're like, that was my brother's like last tweet on social media was your lyrics before he passed away. Like different things like that definitely, you know, tunes me into the music that I create.
How did you get good at songwriting then?
For me, like it was crazy. I mean, my mom, she's a singer as well, and she wrote all her life. She sang in the military, so I take a lot of my inspiration from my mother. But being a kid, and especially like a playlist kid, where you listen to all these individuals, you get to pick what type of artist you want to be from your influences, whether it's Fleetwood Mac or Frank Ocean. You know, you get to take different parts of people, and for me, I felt like I just kept at it. I tried and tried and tried and tried. And I remember like the first song I wrote or I freestyled in the studio with my best friend. He's actually in there right now. First song I ever freestyled, put it on SoundCloud. And there's this one kid, of course, and I mean, I hate talking about this story now. I feel like it's so old, but you know, he was definitely negative about the whole situation, but instead of confronting, I felt like it inspired me to continue, because I'm like, oh, he doesn't like it. All right, you know what? I know other people are going to like it. I know they are. Oh, you don't like it? Oh, let me make you mad so you can hear it all the time. You know? Like petty. I'm a little petty.
Petty king.
Petty king. Place the petty king. I don't know.
So, you know, I wrote another song, and that song was saved, and I was going through it's crazy. I was going through moving from, you know, New York to El Paso. It was lonely. You lose relationships, you lose friendships. And that song came out. And so, it really inspired me. I felt like that was like the light underneath the match, where I was like, wow, like, even if I'm not the greatest writer right now, as long as I'm expressing my feelings through writing, I felt like it was positive for me, because I feel like my energy is in a completely different place as it is right now, because I am writing the records, and I'm growing with the records. I'm growing with myself. And so I don't write as much as I feel like I should.
Yeah. I noticed that, like on Bad Luck, you freestyle that too.
Yeah. I was also pissed. I was mad.
I was gonna ask you that, because like there's a section, and it seems like as if you're getting a chip off your shoulder. You talk about
dark side of Khalid.
Yeah, like people only love you when you
head top.
This is one that stuck out the most. It said people only love you when you're needing your wealth.
Yeah.
Like, have you experienced that?
Yes.
And how do you maneuver through it?
So that song for me, it's so funny, because if I'm being real about that song as well, I felt like I mean, you run into so many people, so many friends who end up taking advantage of your kindness and of your money. And I love going on like trips, so I love like paying for people on trips and different things like that.
Touch it down?
Yeah, I love paying for my friends to go, because I'm like, realistically, they don't have enough money financially to go, and I don't want to put them in debt to hang out with me when I got it. You know, I'm like, okay, like, come with me. Went on this trip, and I wanted to go to, whether it was like a museum or something, and I felt like at that moment, the moment that I didn't offer to pay, I felt like a lot of my friends were like, I don't want to go no more. So I was like, Then I wanted to go to Disneyland, and then nobody wanted to go with me, and I went to Disneyland by myself.
Damn. Nigga, you Khalid.
Yeah, right? But through discussion, I mean, you realize like different... I mean, you're so oblivious, I feel like, in the heat of being angry at, where you don't really talk, where it's just like, my friends did want to go, but they don't have it. They don't.
It's hard.
It's hard. And so then I'm like, okay, it's a completely different situation. But that doesn't, I mean, go away from the fact that there were a lot of people in my life who were intentionally there because I had enough money to pay for everything. Because when it comes down to just support, it wasn't there. There was no support of me as an artist or as a friend or as anything. It was just more like, oh, you got this, can I come? So
you kind of talk about that a little bit on the Hundreds as well. Like, is that like an extension of Bad Luck?
Yeah, I felt like last year or the year before last year was definitely, I felt a breakthrough of who I needed to surround myself with, and I realized I didn't have to be friends with everybody. Like, I didn't have to be friends with everybody. I can respect everybody, but a friendship becomes personal, and you have to trust in the friendship, and you have to, I mean, you got to be there emotionally for a friendship. And there's just so many different things that I felt like a lot of people either didn't have the time or the effort that they wanted to put in. And sometimes it was reciprocated, where you kind of grow up and you're like, look, like, we're not really meant to be friends or around each other, because we're just on completely different ways. Especially me, I'm like, if I'm going to be positive about everything and every comment I hear from you is negative, or you're talking about somebody, or you're starting drama with this person, or you're fighting at this place, or you're doing this at this, like, that's not what I want to be represented as an individual. Because I'm out here fighting for you. Right. You know, I'm out here grinding for you. I'm out here doing all this stuff for you. I love my friends. My friendships I cherish my friendships, because without them, I would be very, very, very lonely, especially in this industry. So, I really give it up to them. Yeah, definitely.
You got a great team. This guy, also just on the business front, we hear this guy named Tunji.
Yeah.
A&R Supreme.
Yep.
Does he live up to the hype? Why is this guy such a good A&R?
He is my favorite A&R in the game. For me, Tunji, I feel like he really understands artists. When it came down to making American Teen, I felt like it was such a risk for me to be writing, you know, the whole thing. The only song that I didn't write completely by myself was the bridge off of Young, Dumb and Broke, but everything else I wrote. So for an artist, for a new artist, yeah, thank you. But for a new artist, for an A&R to trust their artist and be like, look, write your whole thing, you got it. I'll bring you the tools, I'll bring you the producers. If you need songwriters in case, I got you. You know what I mean? For an A&R to have that much trust in their artist is super amazing, because I feel like, you know, sometimes I feel like the A&R tries to control the artists, but at the end of the day, it's a partnership between both of them. They're both working, totally. And for him, he does have a lot on his plate, but I always get calls from him. I always get texts from him. I always get invited to dinner. We hang out, we talk, we know each other on a personal level, so it's not even like he's my A&R. It's like we're friends, like we got each other. So it's like, for me to have that, especially with, like, you know, the type of person that I am, like, I felt like that really helped me. And then also, I'm a student of him, so I'm watching what he's doing, I'm watching the people that he's touching, I'm watching this, and then you put that into, you know, your own success as a career too. So for me, I really love the relationship that Tunji has with all of his artists, and he makes it that initiative, and he's never too busy to answer a call, because if he doesn't answer it at the first ring, he calls me back right when he can. That's what I respect.
What's that balance, though? Because a lot of artists feel like, you know, there's all this battle of creative control, right? Like, if I deal with it, he's going to make me change something. I love the way this is. Like, is that part of it, or is it more just about a support system?
I don't feel like Tunji has ever told me to change anything. Like, I felt like he has so much trust in me as an artist that I really just do whatever. Like, I'm really just, like, if I want to create, I go to him and I'm like, yo, I want to do this. If I have collaboration ideas that I want to do, I go to him, I'm like, yo, I want to do this. We talk with each other. We're like, yo, he's like, can you wait until like August though? Because we have all these collaborations already lined up. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm like, bet. Yeah, I'll wait until August. And then if it doesn't happen, we have a conversation. We come to another agreement. It's never, no one's bossing anyone around. No one's like, you got to do this. You can't do this. You got to make music like this. We got to have this type of record. We got to have that type of record. It's more just like,
he's a partner in this.
You want to record? All right, cool. Like, let's make it happen. Let's build it. Let's make a board. Let's do what we have to do. Let's handle it. It's never, I feel like it's always equal with me and Tunji.
No pressure.
You keep mentioning collaborations. I need that top 5 Khalid collaboration, because I'm getting lost, man. There's too many hot joints, man.
Top 5.
You're also guilty of sometimes if it's a feature, I feel like it's your record. On the low. We live in the playlist world. Just personal favorites so people don't get offended. Like, if it's you, Khalid, what are your personal 5 guest collabs that stick out in your mind?
Personal 5 collaborations that I have.
That you're most proud of?
Definitely Love Lies with Normani. I really take pride in that. Lovely with Billie Eilish. On the Way with Black and Ty Dolla $ign. I really love that one a lot. Oh, Electric with Alina Baraz, because one of my biggest inspirations, so to work with her was amazing. And then another one that's not out yet.
Uh-oh. Not the Majid Jordan one, though?
Oh, okay, Top 6. that one's so. And like, if I have a spoiler of it's a completely different Khalid. I feel like it was like the same Khalid that hopped on like the Gold Link record. And then the other is definitely my sound. And you'll hear about that collaboration very, very, very soon.
Yeah, I like what you did with the Gold Link record. It sounded like you, but it didn't sound like you, which was really dope.
It was crazy because it actually was like a reference track of mine that I did in Asia. I was just in it, just listening to the music and then just like hearing like the culture and being out in all the cities, and it just right there just like floated out of me. And it's so I mean, it's just crazy that song's out, because for me I was like, I don't feel like that's like a collaboration. I took that, like, not collaboration because I love the song a lot, but I felt like when I was making the song, I didn't go into it as Khalid going into it to collaborate. I felt like I was in a completely different persona. Like I was trying to be someone else. I was like experimenting. I was stepping out of my box. And for it to come out, and I love the song so much, Gold Link kills it. It's so crazy. And
the joint is hot.
It's a hard.
And I'm reading comments like, I wish Khalid experimented more, and I'm like, okay, that's good to see. That's good to know.
Does
it's
that
good to
give
see.
you that opportunity, like when you do collaborate, to go into another artist's world?
Yeah,
it tests your range.
I love to step out of my world. To walk into someone else's world and then to drop off a little bit of myself in it and then tap out. I feel like collaborations are about artists complementing each other. And I feel like instead of competing with each other. I feel like there's a lot of collaborations where you hear that they're competing with each other and then the chemistry's off. It's like, it just sounds like 2-3 different records on one.
That whole who murdered who on the record vibe is over that.
I feel like when you go into, especially when you're collaborating, because I only want to collaborate with people I feel like I have friendships with. So when you're collaborating with a friend, you know them, you know how they work, you've seen them, you've talked to them on a personal level, you see their strengths. And so for me as a collaborator, I try to accent their strengths and then, throw a little bit of me. But I never want to be the person who's like, let me just make this mine. Like, let me just do this. I'm like, it could be both of ours, but let's have it be the best out of both of ours. Like, let's really get to know each other through this record. Let's put it out. I'm like, I have so many. Another one of my favorite collaborations I've done was with Black, Seasons, off of his album.
Absolutely.
Like me and Black are like, we're really good friends, like best friends. You know what I mean? So when we're on this record, it's like, we know each other's pocket. We know each other's mood. We know what each other's gonna do. We get it. There's that chemistry through the record. We get it. Because I'm pretty sure you could lock us in the studio and we would do 10 records off bat and you would still feel that there would never be a weak point, because we have mutual respect for each other as an artist, and we like to let each other shine. That's what you have to do in a collaboration. Let the other artist shine. Don't take the shine, because you're gonna take away from the record. And it's gonna limit it.
Did you decide who's gonna appear on the Talk remixes? I know you got Megan Thee Stallion, got Yo Gotti on one.
I love Megan Thee Stallion.
We all do.
I love her a lot. I love her as an artist, as a person, as an individual. I love like that she did the beach cleanup and like that she's like, studying like the environment and getting people to use like reusable water bottles and just different things like that. I really love what she has going on, and it's a very exciting and a very fresh sound. I'm like really, really excited for her because she's on the path of being huge, and I'm just here for it completely. Yeah.
So like Yo Gotti, like that whole collaboration.
Yo Gotti's, I love Yo Gotti. I'm a big Yo Gotti fan too. So that collaboration was definitely, I felt like it was for me, where I'm like, I get to take like just two amazing rappers that I like and put them on Talk, and it takes it to a completely different world. And I mean, for me, I want to do multiple like remixes. I want to do like remixes with like pop stars too, or even then, like I don't want to limit the amount of like remixes. I feel like for me, it's so cool, especially when you're a fan of an artist and you send it to them and then they say yes to remixing it. Then you get to hear it and it's on your record. Like having Kalani and Lil Wayne on the Location remix, two artists who I admire, and for them to be on it and for them to do what they do, their own thing, I feel like there's no feeling like it, and I'm all here for remixes.
You started up on IG. You put up a snippet recently. You was like, who should I put on?
Yeah, I'm like,
artist friends, tap in.
Yo,
Sisters out here putting their hand up, like, I'm ready.
Oh my God, yes.
I gotta stay low when they're watching me, living life, no apologies.
Yeah. I love. SZA is a really big inspiration of mine too. So the day that we get to crack in and we get to do a song, even hopefully if it's that song from I'm like, for me, I was like, I wonder who would want to hop on this with me, because I wanted it to be
Khalid, goddamn.
Nah.
Get my bars up.
I'm like, I was so interested to seeing like who gravitated towards a sound like that, and you find so many amazing artists like that I'm inspired about, or even just just iconic artists where you're like, whoa, like they want to collaborate with me on that type of song. Because I feel like, I don't know if it's just me as an artist, but I feel like we're definitely our biggest critics. So sometimes we go into this world where we're like, oh, no one likes me. I'm like, nobody likes me. Like, but then
also with somebody who's super successful, like then it gets competitive. So then it's like,
which is so lame. But so I'm like,
that's why I gave it up, Khalid. I used to be like that.
I'm like, you don't got to compete with me.
Not in 2019.
I'm 21 years old. Like, what are you doing? You about 35, almost 40. Why are you trying to compete with me? I like you. I look up to you. I like you. Don't even try to
Fat Joe. I see Fat Joe like it.
I love Fat Joe.
Fat Joe's
super
your man.
cool. I try to be friendly. Like, I try to make friends with people in the industry. Like, I don't.
Kid Capri's like good dude. I saw some comment. Like,
oh my, yeah. Like,
Joe?
They're like, yo, Fat Joe's amazing. He's super cool. He's, gave me words of advice. So many different artists that you meet into. They're like, I feel like there is also that stigma where it's like everybody in the industry hates each other, but nah, like there's so many people who have so much love for each other in the industry, and you see them all in the same room, and it's nothing but good energy. They look at you, especially me, like I'm like a newbie still. So I go into rooms and I see artists I've never ever seen before, never ever met. And then they come to me and they give you respect, and it's like it just makes you feel better, especially being as young as I am, where I'm like, yo, 3 years ago I was a senior in high school, listening to you on my playlist, on my summer 16 playlist. I'm listening to you. I look up to you, so you never know like
it's
what
a fraternity almost.
But you never know what your records can do to impact someone else, and so
I got one right here.
Yeah.
She said, Khalid is totally unique. He's a beautiful writer with the ability to take human concepts and make you understand and feel them. He has a full, powerful voice that is somehow unassuming and smooth at the same time.
Oh my God, that's
He's
amazing.
Accessible, almost like you've met somebody like him before.
Oh my God.
Although there's nobody else like him. He has his own style, and I think we're all hungry for individuality right now.
Oh my God, thank you. That
was Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
Like that must have felt amazing for her. Like, did you know that was coming? Like,
no. To even be on like the Times 100 most influential list, I had no idea that would ever happen to me in my life. And for someone like Alicia Keys, like I sat down with her and we talked in the studio. We talked for hours, and we just talked, and we got to know each other's energy. She gave me so much advice. I was so inspired by it. You leave and that's something that you think about. And then for her to do a write-up of me and be so nice is just amazing. Like I said, like you never really know who gets inspired by you as an individual. So I only want like my perception to be welcoming. Look, I am that way. You can come to me. You can talk to me. You can ask me for advice. We can be friends. I don't ever want to be the type of artist or the type of individual where people are intimidated to come up to you and talk to you. Because I'm just like...
He's got that reputation. That
what are they supposed to get from you? Right. Especially if they're inspired by you. What are they supposed to get from you? I feel like a conversation is the best thing, even if it's 5 seconds. Some artists out there, they have a 5-second conversation with their favorite artist. They could go into the studio the next day and then make the most insane song that they've ever done based off of that energy. Yeah. So it's just like, why not give that to people?
I saw that Time Gala. It was The Rock and Gayle King. Y'all took a picture together.
Crazy, right?
Right?
It's crazy. You just look around, you're like, oh,
It's like a who's who.
Yeah, it was amazing.
You're
and
a big rock fan too, right?
Yeah, it was so crazy because in my suitcase on that trip, I had literally a The Rock like T-shirt just in my bag. I'm like, damn, I can't wear this shit anymore because I just.
That's funny.
I was like, damn, I can't wear it anymore. Yeah, I was like, I can't wear this shirt anymore because I met him. But maybe I'll put it on again.
And he's listening to your music.
Yeah,
like you said, that was fate.
It's insane because I mean, like. The Rock has been wrestling for a long time. I pretty much my whole years of life grew up watching him wrestle.
Right.
And so to see him transition into an actor, then I'm watching the movies, you know? And then now I'm walking into this room and then my team's like, is there anybody that you would like to meet? I'm like, yo, I want to meet The Rock. There's like scientists on the list. There's like, you know, like amazing journalists and, you know, politicians. I'm like, yo, I gotta meet The Rock.
Get me The Rock, fam.
Like, get me The Rock. Because he's amazing and he's so inspirational and he's really just a very positive force, I feel like, in the world, especially as an entertainer. And so for me to meet him, that was the highlight of my whole experience. I feel like it almost overshadowed the fact that I was on the list with him because I'm just respecting the fact that he's on the list. I think it was his first time on the list too.
There you go, first time.
So you know, so and he deserves that. And then Gayle King, it was her first time on the list too. So it's so amazing to meet people who you look up to. It kind of it puts me into this weird. I'm like, yo, I am very, very, very young, and these people have been doing this shit for as long as I've been alive, and I'm able to be in this position. But 20 years down the road, let's say I get, you know, nominated again or whatever, and there's gonna be another artist there who's like, oh my God, Khalid's on this list. So I try to keep that in mind.
It seems like you have a very like you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed despite all of the success. Like I remember you tweeted one time you wanted to go to the Grammys. Then you actually went to the Grammys.
I know, I went.
Like, you know,
it was amazing.
You wanted to meet The Rock. Then you meet The Rock. Not too bad.
Great. It was fire. Yeah.
You know, then like you go to the Time Gala, you meet, you know, The Rock and people like that, people that you look up to. It seems like you're not necessarily jaded by things that come your way.
I don't allow myself to be. I feel like I'm just not even. I feel like my personality, like even if it's off air, off camera. Like, for me, I just kick it at my house, eat red velvet cupcakes, watch cartoons, smoke some weed, play with my puppy, and I do that every single day. I actually do it. I come to the studio late, get there at 6 when I said I was going to get there at 2, leave at 10, you know, like, I look at it as, like, I'm very like go with the flow, and I don't try to stress myself out throughout all of this, and I like to live moment by moment. I don't really like to think 3 months in advance because I'm just like there's no point for me to. I feel like that's when anxiety comes into place. I'm like, I already have to hop on a plane almost every day. You know, I already got to do a lot of things. I'm like, it's also just the people I surround myself with. In terms of that, the fact that I have such a strong relationship with the people that I work with, it's like work doesn't always become work, you know, because we're friends with each other. So I'm sitting down and I'm watching my dancers do the rehearsal without me, and I'm their biggest fan. I'm like, oh my God, this is exciting to me.
Those are your real friends.
Yeah, those are my friends. I'm like, I walked off the stage. One of my best friends, who's one of the dancers, I go to him. I'm like, yo. You inspire me. Like they all inspire me as an individual. So how can you be jaded when you're getting constant inspiration from people? I know I will never be the best dancer in the world. I might have a couple of like key dance moves I might, you know, throw in there in the bunch. And so I'm watching people who are constantly creating and step into the plate and pushing themselves as individuals, especially meeting other artists where you're like they're constantly pushing themselves as individuals. That's what I'm focused on, is pushing myself as an artist, not pushing myself as, you know, somebody. Like I don't ever want anyone to look at me and be like don't look up at me, look at me eye to eye. Like we're right here. Like talk to me eye to eye. Don't look up at me. Don't look down at me. We're right here. Like that's the only relationship I want to have with anybody.
So who think Khalid's walking in the room, wherever I put their head, they can't look at him directly.
What?
That's
like,
super celebrity thing.
I'm like, that's not even me if I tried to. If I put it on, I feel like people would see right through me.
So who's
like,
inspiring you in hip hop, man? Because I saw that you said that you got the rap on lowest of keys,
You can
So you can rap. So you can rap on the lowest of keys.
16,
you did a little bit on the 100.
Never, ever.
On the 100s, you kind of did a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, but
and it's so funny. Look, I'm not freestyling, but it's so funny. Like
if we would sway, you would go in.
It's so funny. I was just talking to my friends as a joke. It started like I feel like around like a year and a half ago. I would turn on a beat. It'd usually be the same beat every day.
Which beat was it? Like original?
Right now, my beat is Walked In. Is that like I'll freestyle on it, like with my friends. Me and my friends will freestyle, and month after month after month, I was like, yo, I'm kind of actually getting a little bit good at this. I was like, I'm kind of spitting bars right now.
Right.
And it's just fun. It's like a fun exercise for me. I feel like it. In terms of songwriting, you know, writing these songs, I feel like it's super cool, especially when I'm doing like melody tracks where the words come to me naturally, and it makes it so much easier. But I definitely give it up. I mean, people who I love, like obviously I'm a huge Drake fan, I'm a huge Kendrick fan. There's so many individuals, and you know, Dominic Fike, I'm a really big Dominic Fike fan. Kevin Abstract, like so many J. Cole, like you know, so many different rappers, even like you know, Tierra Whack, and like you know, like so many people, Megan Thee Stallion, Rico Nasty, like so many just people.
Put the playlist together. There you go. Get myself
right. Rappers, like they get more critically critiqued than singers do by far. You know,
singers, you'll hear the song and then critique it.
They'll go off with the melody and they'll go off of different things like that. You know, they definitely might talk about some of the songwriting, but when it comes down to rapping, it's strictly bar for bar for bar for bar. You can't have one weak bar.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, that takes confidence, because rapping is such a personal experience where you're storytelling, and so it's someone's judging your story. Someone's like, oh, your story's corny.
Yeah. Right. Or it's not real. It's not authentic.
Or it's not real. And some of these artists, they wrote their story over and over and over again until they released it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, nah, I don't have the confidence as an artist yet to ever put myself out like there. One day maybe I will, but for now I got to give it up to the people who are actually doing it, because they are inspiring artists like me. And it's funny because you talk to, you know, I feel like rappers love to sing and singers love to rap. Yeah. I feel like there's like that thing. A lot of R&B
cats can spit.
Yeah, they can spit. Yeah. But you know, even just sitting down with like pop stars, because like I'm kind of in the pop world as well. Sitting down with pop stars.
Be clear.
Sitting down with pop stars, they're like, yo, can I play you this? Yeah. But you know, sitting down with pop stars and they're writing raps and that never come out. You listen to it and you're like, you can tell who they're inspired. You can tell what rappers are inspired by.
Speaking of inspiration, like, why was it important to include Salem's interlude on that?
Oh, because Salem's one of my best friends, and two of my best friends are actually included on that at the end. One of my best friends, she lives in Phoenix too, so she's riding around somewhere right now. She's at the end on some, like, I feel like it was a contrast. Salem, she's so introspective, and I feel like, you know, she's definitely good with her words, and she loves to just really just think, and like, but it takes a lot of caring. Like, she's a very caring individual, like very, like, you know, she's on her whatever, always on, and she's just the best. And then my friend at the end, so she's like, so Salem's like spitting words of wisdom, like, you know, I feel like for me to be this individual. Then my friend at the end is just the most non-caring, nonchalant, I don't care, no whatever. She's like, I just want to get so motherfucking high right now. I feel like it was just so different. Right. I feel like those were just two sides of me, because obviously, like, you see yourself in the friendships that you surround yourself with. I'm like, those are just two different sides of me. I feel like I had to put it on there. And I really, for me, music to me is like a time marker. I'm going to look back at it 10 years from now and be like, wow, like, I'm so glad I have those friends that hopefully I'm still friends with on that album or EP that impacted so many different people. Like there's voice notes from my friends on American Teen as well. You know, so it's really, that's something that I really want to get back to doing, is just making sure I put those markers of time just in the music that I get to look back at years from now, and we all get to collectively enjoy it together. So the fact that I threw her on, you know, Salem's Interlude, I'm playing it at the show. Oh, wow. So she's gonna go to the LA show. She's gonna hear her voice in an arena.
Ooh, everybody. I thought that was just some random YouTube clip that you found. Okay.
Nah, that's one of my good friends. So thank you for making that happen.
What is your mom's favorite joint on that Free Spirit album?
My mom's favorite. My mom loves Talk. Definitely.
We need that to go number one.
My mom loves Talk, because for me, Talk is just so R&B, and like I love that song so much too. And I can remember the first time I ever brought my mom in the studio was a very, very intimidating thing, and I don't think I ever brought her into the studio after that moment, because it's a lot to just record and you look at your mom right there. But she was there when I finished Location. That was like, really? That was the only song that she's been in the studio to hear.
She might be the lucky charm.
Yeah. So she was there for Location. It was crazy. For me, I was afraid of my mother, because I'm like, she's so good. I look up to her as a singer, and everything about her I just love. So for, you know, someone, especially like my mom, to be listening to me, I felt like I kind of fell into just this placement where I was like, she's gonna judge me. But instead of judging me, because I mean, it was even hard to tell my mom I was writing music. Like I felt like that was tough for me. I don't know if it's tough for anybody else, but I felt like it was tough for me to be like, Mom, like, look, like I'm writing music and I want to be an artist. And sometimes you don't really get support like that. But for her, she was like, you want to be an artist? She was like, you got to graduate high school first. That's all it was. She trusted me. She supported me. I can remember walking around El Paso. I'm about to get my license at the DMV. And before we walk in, I'm like, Mom, look my music, like I got 20,000 plays. Somebody in this room, I bet they're gonna recognize me. We go in, crickets, nobody recognizes me. While I'm walking out the door after I got my test, which I passed, after I got the test, I'm walking out and someone's walking in, they're like, Khalid. I'm like, close enough.
It works.
Close enough. Like, close enough, I'll take it. After that,
do you know when a song is a hit? Because you got Location, you got Young, Dumb, and Broke, you got Talk, like...
I can't give you the formula.
What's the sauce, man?
I'm kidding. You never know when a song is a hit. Never. You might get pretty close, and your ratio might be pretty close, but there's gonna be one that you expected to be a hit that didn't hit like you thought it would. For me, I only know, like, I mean, I definitely, sometimes I record a song, I'm like, oh, this is a hit. This is it. This is the one. Because it's that energy behind it, that feeling, that whatever. Sometimes that feeling falls short. But when that feeling doesn't, it's amazing. For me, recording Talk, I definitely played it for my friends and was like, yo, this is out of here. This is this. They say it too. But I mean, it took a little bit for Talk to get onto the road that it is now.
But even like Young, Dumb, and Broke, you didn't think that was going to be a monster when you first made it?
When I recorded Young, Dumb, and Broke, I took it back to the apartment I was living in. I had a mirror set up on the wall, and I danced to the song in the mirror for like 5 plays, and I was like, this feels good. Right. I didn't want to say that it was gonna be a hit. I didn't have any hits at that point. Right. When it came down to Free Spirit, there's definitely records where I was like, you know what? I actually didn't expect Better to do what it did. I just trusted Better to do what it did. I love that song so much. But then you have like, you know, songs, just so many songs I felt like I put out that took so long to become a hit. So it's like a pleasant surprise, I feel like, where you're like, you expected a song, you were like, oh, I really believe in this song. And it's like, but then it just goes right up.
Right.
You know, the fact that I have, you know, I'm on 2 of the longest, like, pop airplay, something like that, some stat for 2 of my records.
Talk.
No pun.
Khalid, your stats, I was gonna say, a lot of times now, like, you know, in hip hop, we had the 50 Cent era, right, where everybody knew your sound scan is this, your trash, your sound scan is that.
Yeah.
So I feel like in today's music, we don't judge it the same way. It's kind of more word of mouth. This is good. This isn't good.
Yeah.
But with you, you're putting up like third artist to rule number 1 and 2 in the R&B charts. Nobody ever did it before. That Better in Talk was number 1. When your album came out, you were the first artist to have the entire top 5.
It's crazy.
On the Billboard hip hop R&B charts. Better Talk, My Bad, Saturday Nights, Out of My Head.
Oh my God.
And we're not gonna mention these other DSPs down the dial, these other DSPs, but the most streamed artist. You are the most listened to artist across the board.
Yeah.
How humbling is all these accolades you're getting?
It's insane. I feel like I've always been the type of person to be thankful of any accolade that I get. There's tweets out there that, you know, my fans found where I'm like, thank you guys so much for 1,000 plays.
Wow.
Like, thank you so much for 2,000 plays. Yeah. I'm gonna drop a song soon for you guys. I'm over here like, I don't even have a car at this point. Damn. My friends drive me. I'm in the backseat of his car because I can't like fit in the front. There's somebody else in the front, so I'm in the backseat of his Mustang, like driving to someone's house and then recording in their bedroom. And I'm like, all right, you know, next 5,000 plays. Look, I got this for you. Thank you guys so much. You know what I mean? Where it was like, it is very humbling because you kind of, I feel like I forgot to really even look at that or think about that. Like I was like, I remember, you know, being like the 200th artist, and I'm like, thank you, thank you. So to be at the point where I was able to hit, I was able to hit number 1. And the world, you think about the world is huge.
Yeah. It's a lot of artists.
You're number 1 right now as an artist. Like, that's bigger than me as an individual. That's not saying that Khalid is number 1. That's just saying that my music is the number 1. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't want to be number 1. Like, there's so much pressure that comes with it. I already deal with so much anxiety being an artist right now. I could not imagine having almost 200 million Instagram followers. I don't want that. I respect the people who do, and it takes a lot of work, and they go through so much. I don't want that. But for my music to do it, I feel like that's just, it's really just amazing. Now I want my music to continue to do that. But you know, to hit, like you said, 1 through 5, like to be the first artist ever, is very humbling. It's amazing because there's so many R&B artists who inspire me, you know, so many people who are constantly inspiring me, so many people who I look back at where I'm like, thank you so much for making the music that you did. So for me to be able to do something like that, like I said, is bigger than me. I don't even think about it like.
So you really attribute it to the content. And
yeah.
You said the thing is, you know, making genuine music. Like, I think the thing about you is like, you get the feeling like, I saw something you did even with Sirius where you were going track by track on your album, like real fast about each song. Like, I just get the feeling from you that you really do love your songs.
Yeah.
There's a certain
I got to.
Outside. You step outside.
I have to.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta love my songs when I'm singing them every night. I don't want to be the type of artist who hates what he's singing. I'm like, why release it? Like, why have it come out if I hate the song? As much as I'm like, location. As much as I'm like, I don't want to sing location no more. Yo, I love that song. What? How do you not love the song that breaks you, that changes your life? Like, I love that song. Like, do I love singing it that much every night? You know, out of the bunch, it's going to become my lesser favorite because there's something more new, more fresh, more, you know, almost to the current me, you know, that I want to present to the world. But do I hate any of my music? Nah. If I hated it, like, I don't even really think I would allow it to be out. I'm an arguer. I'm like, don't release that. Don't release that.
Are you sitting on a lot of music?
Huh?
Are you sitting on a lot of music?
Yo, I'm sitting on so much music no one will ever hear.
Wow.
Just ever. No one. Maybe my friends here and there. I was playing some unreleased music the other day when I was in London. I'm like, yo, I got so much. But then as a songwriter, now I could just pass that over to somebody else and they get to write it. They get to sing on it or rewrite it or do whatever they want. And it does get a place to live out in the world. But I gotta love my music because I'm just like, if I didn't love it, man, I need to just quit. Just stop.
But you made sacrifices before we get out of here. You made sacrifices. Like, I saw some with your manager Courtney was speaking about you're about to sell out these tours, your tours, right? But there was times when you were the hot artist, it's like, maybe I should open up for somebody else's tour.
Yeah.
And you chose not to do that. You stayed on your own path. Like, can you talk about the decisions you and Courtney made about your career and why that was the right decision?
I feel like I love the fact that my first tour, for me personally, wasn't jumping on an arena tour or anything like that, because that connection, even walking into the arena, it's like it's a bittersweet moment. I feel like you're just so happy, of course, because it's your tour, your arena tour, but it's kind of sad because you won't be able to sit in a room with just 100 people anymore and just connect with them on a personal level and have personal. At my shows, I used to stop the shows and have personal conversations with people in the audience. I could see everyone's individual face, so I could see whether people were comfortable, were feeling good or upset or were sad. I could see that in my face. And those nerves, you're the most nervous, the most anxious that you've ever been just in a small room because you can see every single face, but that's
still everything.
But then at the end of the shows, I did a meet and greet at the end of every show where I said anybody could come. You don't gotta pay. Anybody could come meet me after the show. Talk to every single fan who stayed after. I would be at the venue for 2 to 3 hours after the show every single night, where I'm leaving at 1 o'clock. But I know that I talk to every single individual. I can't stay after the show at, an arena and talk to 15,000 people. Impossible. I can't build that connection with my fans. I feel like that's where my love came from my fans, because I actually got to know them. Like I built it with them. So for the rooms to get bigger, it's amazing. It's a blessing. It's awesome. But those intimate shows, there's nothing like that feeling, because at the same time, you're still working to be at the bigger shows. So you're still you got that drive. You got that, that work ethic. You got that, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want my show to be this. You start dreaming about the production that I have. You want that so bad. And then when you finally,
this tour be that. This tour's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. When you get there, you're like, I'm so excited for this tour. But when I get there and it starts to become normal, that's where I got to find time to reinvent it some more, to keep going on the path of reinventing the way the stage is, the way the dance, the way the experience is. For me, I don't care if there's 15,000 people. I want to make it personal every single time. I look at all the fans. I take gifts. If they're not phones, don't throw them at me.
Yo, I heard you caught one. Yo, you heard about this?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Shoulder shot?
Shoulder shot.
We see that. We see artists will take the fans' phones and
do a selfie or something.
I'm that type of person. I just hate, it's so sad when you're singing. If you're the person who pays attention to people, you're singing to people and they're just like, please, please, please. And then you see them, I'm just like, I think to myself, I'm like, okay, they seem like a standout person. I'll take their phone. I'll take it. You take their phone, and then whoosh, then 20 others comes up. Then you meet that impatient person, that one impatient person out of all of them. They gonna throw their shit at you. They throw it.
Throw the phone at you.
They gonna throw it at you because it's an entitlement. They expect to get it back. They want that phone back. Not when your phone is shattered into millions of pieces on the floor. You're not getting it back. And it hit me at that. You're not getting your phone back. I don't care how nice you think I am. If that phone hits me in my face, that phone is gone. Word. Talking about, I pay my own plan. I don't care if you pay your own plan. You're not getting that phone back. I trashed it, and I'm lying to you and telling you that I didn't do it when you look backstage.
And expect that lawsuit in the
and expect that. I'm not. I'm not with that. But people throw plush toys and stuff. That's cute, that's cute stuff. Someone tried to throw something at me, and one of my security guards goes, whoosh, just gone. Deception. Never seen ever again.
Can't touch Khalid.
But if it gets to me, just make sure it's like a soft gift that's not gonna leave a dent on my arm or anything like that.
Well, thank you for coming through, Khalid. Before we get out of here, I just want to know, man, how was that Rock Nation brunch? Because Elliott and I didn't get in, so can you explain how it was? We couldn't get in.
Everybody had a hard year, man.
It was a hard year.
I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It was definitely the place.
Maybe next year, Elliott.
You and Courtney look too happy, man. You and Courtney look too happy, man.
It was fun.
That's what's up.
Well, good luck on the tour, man. Good luck continuing
Thank
success.
you, brother.
Absolutely.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Appreciate it. Rap Radar Podcast.